All right, is everybody pretty much good? We ready to cut?
Yep.
Are we? Okay, on 3, you want to cut it? Yeah. Good? All right, on 3. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
All right! Hey!
All right.
Okay,
All right.
Rachel Jess.
I saw that thing doing an end over end out over the foot line.
Okay, well, my name is Byron Reece, and I am the great nephew of Byron Herbert Reece, and have been involved with the Byron Herbert Reece Society since its foundation about 9 years ago or so. And through a lot of hard work by a lot of people, a lot of dedication, we have a great facility to honor Byron Herbert Reece and the work that he did as a literary figure in the North Georgia mountains, as well as to preserve a lot of the culture and history of Appalachian lifestyle. So we're very fortunate to be here today and to be in this great facility, and hopefully going forward a lot of people in the community will have an opportunity to come and visit, and it'll gain a lot of utilization for visitors to Union County. I never actually knew Uncle Hub personally, because by the time that I was around, he had already passed away. But my grandfather, I would come and visit, Uncle Hub's brother, I would come and visit him a lot in the summers in particular, but even on weekends. And oftentimes we would find ourselves here at the farm. My grandfather still farmed the bottom land at that time, and I would work in the summer with him and hoeing pepper plants and things of that nature. And Uncle Hub's sister Eva May still lived on the property, so we had a chance to visit here often. And it was a great place to come as a kid, because it was just a neat environment with the farm and the creek running through it. And so I have a lot of fond memories of sitting on the front porch and just visiting with family. And it's quite an honor to be able now to share this place with the rest of the community.
I'm Kathy Cox, president of Young Harris College, and it's a pleasure to be here on the Reece Farm today in celebration of all the great connections that Young Harris College had with Byron Herbert Reece. Reece was truly the voice of the southern Appalachian region. Growing up here in this hard-scrabble area on a farm where life was anything but easy, he turned that hard-scrabble life into words of real beauty and inspiration through his poetry and prose. He was a student at Young Harris College in the 30s, never earned a degree because, as we're told, he refused to take French or math or much of science as well, but obviously excelled in English and poetry. Went on to teach some in the local Union County schools here and joined the faculty at Young Harris College in 1954. Came back in 1957 for his last year of life and actually took his life on the campus of the college, suffering from depression and dejection with a lot of serious health issues that kind of came along with the hard life in this area. But his words ring true to the great life and beauty that you could find in the southern Appalachian area, and we're so excited that this farm can now bring those words to life for future generations to know exactly more about our heritage and the daily life and grind that really inspired Reece to write such beautiful words. It's a fabulous farm facility. You'll enjoy it. You'll learn a lot about Georgia, about the Appalachian region, about farming, and about how far we've come as a people.
Union County is very excited and proud to be a part of this. The Reece Society, the Byron Herbert Reece Society, was formed to perpetuate Reece's memory and to also perpetuate farming and the way it was done in the old days and the way it continues. So the county was proud to be a part of that because we think this is going to be an exceptional tourist venue. And so we are involved with the society intimately, and the county actually owns the property. We leased it back to the Byron Herbert Reece Society, and then the society will maintain the property as we're going forward. The county does help out with some of the grass mowing when we can, but primarily the Reece Society will operate this facility going forward, and we think it will be a huge benefit for the citizens of Union County, the state of Georgia, and probably a lot of other states, people that will really enjoy and be able to see what early farm life was like in Union County. It's a project that we've been working on for about 9 years, and it took a lot of cooperation from a lot of people. By the property being in the name of Union County and us taking title to it, it allowed us to apply for grants. We were able to get a transportation enhancement grant that provided funding, the first phase of funding to get the house and office place done. Then we've had some other funding through Appalachian Regional Commission, all of which couldn't have been done unless it had gone through the county. But also in cooperation with that are all the other parties and partners that helped, the EMC, all the contractors have done the work on all the projects that have been going on. There's been probably close to $1.5 million spent out here in total, not counting the many man hours. The Byron Herbert Reece Society has probably personally put in $250,000 on the project. We've gotten probably close to $1.5 million in grants, and Union County has probably put in somewhere in the $20,000 to $50,000 range. So we put this as one of our SPLOST projects to help with this project and back it up. So it's just been a partnership with everybody involved, and we're proud to see it completed now, knowing that there are so many different agencies, Appalachian Regional Commission, One Georgia, the governor's office, the legislative members in cooperation with the county, Department of Community Affairs. They've all worked with us with not only grant funding but with supervision, help, and advice. Georgia Tourism Association, and I guess the list, I could just keep going on and on with the list, but a lot of partners that have worked together to make this possible. Of course, we've used the Carlton Caldwell Detention Center. We've used our jail detainees. I've done a lot of work out here as well, and to keep the expense down to the taxpayers to a minimum. So we're very pleased and proud of what the finished product has turned out to be. Not being the greatest poet myself, or being appreciative of poetry like some people are, it was a little bit difficult to start with for me to understand Reece and his importance to the world, actually, being the great poet he is. But the more you get involved with it, the more you read his works and understand how he thought and how hard he worked, it really gives you a real appreciation for how important Byron Herbert Reece was to not only Georgia, Union, Towns County, but to really to the whole world. His poetry is known throughout, certainly the United States, and I think as time goes on, his poetry will only increase. So being able to perpetuate that poetry, but his famous saying, he was always a farmer first and a poet second. So his dedication to his life and the way he had to make a living was through farming. So he could never make enough money with his poetry to be able to stop his farming life. He always had to farm and subsistent farming as he did on this property. So it's also a way that we can see how our forefathers were able to live and subsist with farming. It gives details, our exhibits give details of how that farming was done, so that young people will never forget how hard and tough it was for this to be done in the beginning.
want to say a word of warm welcome to you. I had been beseeching the good Lord about the day when it comes to the weather. I mentioned cool, but I didn't designate a temperature. So anyway, we are delighted though that we've got a beautiful day, and it's going to warm up, I promise you, and we'll really be happy about that. When I was a student at Young Harris College eons ago, we had a religious emphasis week during that first year I was there. I think it was the first year. And Dr. Charles Allen, some of you remember Dr. Charles Allen, who was pastor in this conference, but at that time he had moved to Houston, Texas, to be pastor of what was then the largest Methodist church in the United States. We had him back at Young Harris. He was a Young Harris graduate for the religious emphasis week. And I attended all the services that were held. I don't remember anything that he had to say in his sermons of theological importance. But I do remember on one of the evenings, he had launched into a rather extensive explanation of some text and ran out of time. So he realized that he didn't have time to finish what he wanted to say, and he said to the group, "I'm just going to put a semicolon right there, and we'll pick up there tomorrow." That's the only thing I remember about Charles Allen. But it really impressed me, that whole notion of the semicolon. Being an English major, I appreciate all of the parts of speech, punctuation, those sorts of things. And it occurred to me that he did a good thing there, because, you know, you use a semicolon when you've made a statement, but then you've got more to say. There's more to come. And I feel that way about our occasion today. In the 9 years that we have been at this, we've made considerable progress, I think, in promoting knowledge of Byron Herbert Reece and in the development of the Reece Farm and Heritage Center. Thousands of hours, I promise you, have been spent in these efforts by hundreds of people. But in opening the venue, we will acknowledge gratefully what we have accomplished, while we also confess that there's more work to be done. I think that William Blake was right when he said, "Great things are done when men and mountains meet." And in an almost literal sense, that is an observation appropriate for this occasion. Well, let me say to all of you who have come from whatever distances, we appreciate your presence. We have the largest gathering we've ever had for a Reece Society meeting, and that is a thrilling thing to see. Now I want to call Dr. Ron Roach forward. He is the Vice Chair of the Byron Herbert Reece Society. He's Professor of Speech Communication and Director of the Appalachian Studies Program at Young Harris College. We appreciate Ron, and we're going to ask him to come and introduce our special guest.
Thank you so much, John. I am one of many representatives of Young Harris College in the audience today, and it is a privilege to be here. Thanks to Deb March, who does such a wonderful job with the website for the Society. I don't know if you notice her frequent postings of quotations from Byron Herbert Reece, and The other day, she had a particularly appropriate quotation in which Reece wrote, "A farm is the most despotic thing in the world during certain seasons of the year." And I'm not sure if he was thinking about the fickle weather that sometimes you encounter, but we are blessed to be here on this beautiful day. And we're honored to have so many special guests with us, and I want to single out a few special invited guests. Before I do that, I want to issue a special welcome and thanks to all of the individual members of the Byron Herbert Reece Society and Board of Directors. Without you and without your vision and your work throughout these many years, we would not be here today. And I thank you. And we'll be recognizing some individuals a little later today who've played pivotal roles in getting us to this point with this beautiful facility. We also recognize that we are here today and this day is possible because of the support and the partnership of many organizations and agencies and businesses throughout North Georgia. And I want to recognize some of the special invited guests representing those groups. And I apologize if we omit anyone. This is the latest information that we had of those who were able to be with us today. And I'll introduce the guests in several groups. If you would hold your applause, and I'd like to recognize each group with a round of applause. And we are very informal here under the shelter in the mountains. If you would raise your hand as I call your name so we can recognize who you are and speak with you later perhaps. We are first of all honored to have our Georgia State Senator from District 51, Steve Gooch, with us today. All right, in the back, Senator. And our Georgia State Representative, District 8, Stephen Allison. Another Steve right back here. And his wife, Regina, is with us as well. Sole Commissioner from Towns County, Bill Kendall, and wife, Jean, are with us. Lamar Paris and wife, Dinah, from Union County, Sole Commissioner, also with us. Jim Conley, Mayor of Blairsville. James Thompson, Appalachian Regional Commission State Program Manager with Georgia Department of Community Affairs. Kathy Papa, Region 2 Manager, Georgia Department of Community Affairs. Right here, yes. Danny Lewis and wife Cheryl. Heather Feldman, Patrick Larson, all with Georgia Mountains Regional Commission from Gainesville. And also former Representative Charles Jenkins and wife Bonnie are with us as well. Let's give a round of applause to our officials from our state and government agencies. We're also privileged to have a number of representatives from significant partners in the region. First of all, our president of Young Harris College and former Secretary of State of Georgia, Kathy Cox, is with us. Joe Garner and wife Sylvia, superintendent of the Georgia Mountain Research and Education Center. All right, in the back. Myers Bannister, representing the Georgia Mountain Fair. Myers, perhaps in a patch of sunshine back here. Cindy Williams with Blairsville Union County Chamber of Commerce, wielding a huge pair of scissors with her today. So a round of applause for all of our local partners. We also have a number of local business partners with us who've helped make this day possible. You see the big banner here for Union County Farm Bureau. We have Ziggy Duvall and wife Bonnie, president of Georgia Farm Bureau, here with us. John Malden and wife Ginger, agency manager, Georgia Farm Bureau, Blairsville. Larry Truelove and wife Sharon, president of Union County Farm Bureau. And Bobby Page and wife Amy, agent with Union County Farm Bureau. So a round of applause for Farm Bureau. And John Moon, owner and manager, Ridgeline TV, Channel 99, with us today with the camera. And then finally, several who have played a key role in the craftsmanship of this beautiful venue, and there are some others who will be recognized along these lines later, but we wanted to mention these at this time. Chad Winkler with Winkler and Winkler Construction, the builder of this beautiful pavilion. Chad is with us in the back here today. Thank you. Robert Pence, the stonemason for the Poetry Trail that you'll see a little later, is with us. Robert? Yes. Calvin Queen and wife Joan, who've been the electrician for the Farm and Heritage Center, bringing us power for the wonderful things you're going to see later today. Calvin, in the back here as well. And finally, as you get a chance to enter the gift shop later today, you'll see some of the beautiful wildflower gift cards that have been created for us by our local artist and a longtime friend of the Society, Mr. Dale Cochran. Dale? Thanks so much to these special guests for being with us today and for all of you for being here. I'll turn it over to Dr. K at this time.
Thank you, Ron. Thank you. We want to hear from a number of people whose names are listed there in the program for today, and I'm going to welcome them one at a time to come and make whatever remarks they choose to make, beginning with President Kathy Cox, and then the others in that order, if you will. Thank you so much. Kathy, welcome.
Thank you, John, and good morning to all of you. It's a great day in Choey-Stoey. It may be the biggest day in Choey-Stoey in a long, long time. But thank you all for coming out to celebrate truly a wonderful opening of this long dreamed of farm, an educational facility. We at Young Harris College are so proud to be a partner in many ways by housing so many of the Reece materials and memorabilia, for hosting the Reece Society, and of course, as many of you know, for having so many ties to Byron Herbert Reece. After growing up in this area, he first entered Young Harris College as a student in 1935. And like many students in the area in that time, his attendance was a bit sporadic, depending on when he needed to be at home tending the crops or taking care of issues with his family life. He came back in 1937 and 38. We count him as a member of the class of 1940, although he never finished. Well, I would say he finished with us. He did not earn a degree, as O.V. Lewis, our longtime registrar and professor, is quick to tell you. He refused to take French. He refused to take math. He had very little science on his curriculum. He just liked English and poetry and writing and excelled at it, of course. So we do count him among our proudest students and alums, even though he technically never earned a degree. In the 50s, he came back to join our faculty in 1954 for a little while, and then came back, of course, for his final year in 1957 and 58, and was a very important part of our faculty. But today, to be able to celebrate his life with this facility, to extend the educational opportunities beyond the classrooms at Young Harris, so that we can educate the world about the hardscrabble life here in this valley that he turned into words of inspiration and beauty, is truly a significant event for North Georgia. We are proud to be a part of those who dreamed for a long time about making this farm a reality that is truly one of the great local, state, and federal government projects that you will ever see come to fruition. So I thank all of you who had a hand in making this facility a reality today, so that we can extend the words and the life of Reece to a greater world beyond this valley. We look forward to sharing it with our students for generations to come and for the world. But a special thanks to John Kay, to all of the members of the Reece Society, to the late James Mathis, to so many people who really put their heart and soul to making this vision come to reality today. We are glad to celebrate with you and glad to always be a part of Reece's life and legacy. Thank you for having us today.
Good morning. I'm sure glad it's not raining. We'd need a snowplow to get me back to Dahlonega, I think. Didn't bring my jacket. Lamar, could I wear yours? Probably wouldn't fit anyway. It's an honor to be here today. I'm from Dahlonega. I'm your state senator, and I love the mountains of North Georgia. I'm a 6th generation Lumpkin Countyan, and a lot of our family here from Blairsville and such area too. So I've been coming by this farm all my life. Didn't know a whole lot about it. In the last few years, I've been watching the work that's been going on by the local community and the leaders here, and I want to just tell you how proud I am to be here today and to honor the heritage of this family, the Reece family, and what it's meant to the mountains of North Georgia all these years. I grew up on a farm, so I understand the importance of preserving our heritage and our mountain way of life, and I tip my hat to you today, and I encourage you to stay involved in this great society and what you've been doing. If there's anything we can do at the state and state capitol, please give us a call. It's great to see people come together and work for such an important event like this, and we'll be around the corner if you need us, and we'll come back and see you again soon. Thank you for having me.
For those of you who don't know, my name is Stephen Allison. I've been honored to serve as your state representative for the past 4 years. And many of you know that when we did the groundbreaking for this several years ago, I was here. And it was such a wonderful thing to see the transition of this ground from this time to that. And I want to thank John Kay for the invitation for me and all the members of the Byron Herbert Reece Society. One thing I said 4 years ago that I want to be a reminder to those who weren't here. Oftentimes in the study of English, the language and our words from Appalachia have been overlooked by people from the Northeast. If you go up to Massachusetts and you go into New Hampshire and Vermont, they study the words of Thoreau or Ralph Waldo Emerson that they call the naturalists. And it's wonderful that right now that we are bringing the focus here in Georgia back on someone who carried our words, someone who lived in our area and spoke truly and passionately about Appalachia. I want to thank Kathy Cox and Young Harris College. For those of you who have not been downtown, you can see proudly their sign for their Center for Appalachian Studies. I think this will truly bring some of Byron Herbert Reece's words alive when you can come see the area where he grew up and see the things he was most passionate about and wrote of. As Senator Gooch said, if there's anything we can do to help you, please don't hesitate to call. And I just want to thank you for truly, it's an honor to be here. And thank you all very much.
It's a pleasure to be with you and participate in the opening of this beautiful and wonderful place of Appalachia. I bring you greetings from Governor Deal's alternate, Mike Beatty, Commissioner Beatty, who unfortunately could not be here today. He'd rather be here today than where he is. He's working on the Home Safe program somewhere, trying to get folks current with their mortgages. And so he said to tell you that he'd much rather be here. I'm James Thompson. With the governor and with Mike Beatty, it's my privilege to help manage the Appalachian Regional Commission program in Georgia. And I want to say that how many years ago, Fleming? 6, 7, 8 years ago, I was invited to drive in up here and take a look, and so I did. I found the spot and drove down off the highway, and there was kind of a sad looking little building over to the right, a little house, and a couple of barns. And I thought, well, I'm in the right spot. I don't know what I'm looking for exactly, but is this it? And then I saw a line of people standing there, Fleming and, gosh, I don't remember who else, Bert Wirtz. I think I might have seen him here today, former State Parks Director, Dr. Kay, Garland Reynolds, gosh, I don't remember how many. And so they said, well, this is the spot where we want to commemorate Byron Herbert Reece and his family and the farm. And I thought, oh, what have I gotten into now? A long time ago, a former ARC federal co-chair, Ann Pope, told me, she said, if you go and you visit folks and you look at their projects, they expect you're going to give them some money. And so I thought, well, okay, let's hear what they've got to say. So, due to your diligence, and this is I'm talking to everybody that's worked on this, and I'm glad to hear the motorcycles and everybody coming by, because we're going to get some of those folks off that road coming down to this site. Won't be long. Due to your diligence, hard work, and success, this site's become a model for others already, whether you realize it or not. The Reece Farm is in a class by itself. I don't think there's any question about that. But it's becoming it will become an anchor attraction, I think, for this region. And that's a very important thing. In fact, it's already a model. We've been working the last couple of years over in northwest Georgia with another site. And there's several parallels between that site and this one. That site had a rural Appalachian visionary struggling artist who made little money but achieved some fame, but not enough recognition in his lifetime. And when the commissioner of that county, Jason Winters, told me that they were thinking about trying to resurrect Paradise Garden, I said, well, good luck. It's had its better days, but I think that there might be some promise to that. But you need to go over and talk to Lamar Paris over in Union County, because they're bringing along a site over there which is very similar to what you're trying to do. And so Jason did. He came over and talked to Lamar and found out all about how the society and how Union County were working together to foster this site, to bring it together. And he went back to Chattooga County in the northwest corner, and they've applied many of the principles and much of the model that you've used here. So you're already a model for many others. You're already a success story in many ways. I'm looking for my semicolon here. This should have been double spaced. You have some great advantages here, though, really, that they don't have in the northwest corner, and that's a stunning location, a long-term dedicated group of people and supporters, and it didn't hurt, it does help tremendously that you've got a premier architect in Garland Reynolds. I don't know if Garland's here, but to have an architect to help you design and execute your vision of this site is a tremendous advantage. So what you're doing here is much more than scenery, though. You're adding to the fabric of Appalachia. You're adding great value. You're preserving culture. And this is what I consider to be a legacy project, one that will continue on into the future. So the entire team working on the farm is one of the most dedicated I've ever seen on any of the projects I've worked with in 10 years with ARC. And what you're doing is what I think is called cultural heritage tourism. And this beautiful site and the others like it in North Georgia will help diversify the economy. It'll bring in tourists, and hopefully they'll spend lots of money, and we'll reap the rewards. And they'll go back home after they leave a lot of that money. Cultural tourism, I think, I keep reading that those folks spend more money, stay longer, and look for these kinds of experiences. And I really think they're looking for, and most of us are looking for, authenticity in the kind of venues and the kind of attractions that we seek. I want to make a little shout out here to my colleague Cheryl Smith. I know Cheryl's here somewhere. Cheryl's worked on a lot of these projects, a lot of these heritage projects. And really, they're some of the more difficult to do because it's just hard in the beginning to show what the value of these things are going to be. And all these funding programs turn on now economic development and return on investment. We have to be very convincing in the case we make to the people that actually have the money. That's not me. I just have to take these little projects on and try to convince the folks that have the money that there will be a return. It is a good investment. It is an investment in the future. Cheryl's worked on many of these. She knows how hard it is in many cases to do these. They're tough to get funded and they're hard to sustain, but I think with the team y'all have got, with the vision you've got, you will sustain this over the long run. I have no doubt of it. So the Appalachian Regional Commission is very pleased to be a partner in this project, and I'm very pleased to be with you today. I really appreciate your invitation, and we look forward to the progress of the future. Thanks.
Just want to say, Reverend Kay, I appreciate the opportunity to have a part in this today. What you and your Reece Society have accomplished is something that will live on for a long time. Driving in and looking at the buildings there, it brought back some memories. I'm sure Reverend Reece has been in that field down there behind a mule and a double foot with a fender on it. How many know what a fender is on a double foot? Raise your hand. Okay, we have some. Later on, he was in that field with a cultivator, and about the 4th of July, they'd laid that corn by, and on the way into dinner, Charles, they'd bring a mess of corn. And then later on, they'd cut the tops, pull the fodder, get stung by some pack saddles, but they preserved everything. He probably went to the spring to fetch a pail of water, carry it back to the house, and if the fire went out on a cold winter night, the dip would be frozen in that pail of water. Those are some things that what you've done here today is going to be preserved. We're proud of it. And Lamar, you'll be to be commended for what you've done to make this happen. Anyway, Towns County can work with Union County to promote it. We'll be there with you. Thanks for the opportunity to come in, and congratulations.
Thank you, Bill, and I want to echo the sentiment. Bill and I work together, our counties work together well on just about everything we do, and it makes this part of Georgia and the most beautiful part of Georgia even more beautiful, and able to promote that to the world. My wife said, if you notice how good a job Steve Gooch and Stephen Allison did about getting up and sitting down, she said, she also commented that what you said was appropriate too. But, I told her, I said, hey, I'm sorry I can't be quite that quick because I don't have a home crowd like this very often. I want to first mention that one job as a commissioner is you always want to find a way to turn negatives into positives. And so what I want you to realize is when you hear these motorcycles going by, they're going to stop in town and spend money somewhere down the road. So there's going to be some money coming in from that. Also, because we are in such a unique location and because the farm is next to the road, it's going to make it even more of a tourist attraction. And then finally, and not the sad, this is one of the sad parts, I guess, our hospital also does a pretty good business from the motorcycles. If you could bring that banner up here, I'm gonna do just a little advertising, but it's for a good cause and a good group. We were thinking about who we might talk to about sponsoring the meal today, and we came up with the idea, well, why not Farm Bureau? You know, this fits right in exactly with Farm Bureau and what they do and what they're about. And I wasn't sure. I'm not a guy that likes to go out and talk and ask somebody for money, unless it's property taxes. But Farm Bureau, you see the banner on the side. When I went up and talked to them about it, I cannot tell you, John Malden runs their office over here in Blairsville, and I cannot tell you how excited he was
about it. Made me feel guilty. And then, of course, you always think when it's that easy, I should have asked for more. You know?
Not too late.
But I want to thank y'all very much for the cooperation they gave John and his wife. And we're really honored that we have Zippy Duval and his wife Bonnie. Zippy is the president of the State Association of the State of Farm Bureau, the whole shebang. And I didn't know, but he has a place, he and his wife have a place in Suches. And he said it got pretty cool over there last night. But we're honored to have them, and he'll be up and say a few words. In the back, there's a huge basket back there. There's some brochures about Farm Bureau and the importance of being a member and how much they do for our community and how much they contribute to our community. But there's also a huge basket of Georgia peanuts. And there's enough for you to get several to take with you. I mean, there's a lot back there. It was so heavy I didn't even want to pick it up. So we appreciate them very much for what they've done, their staff, and thank y'all very much. Let's give them a hand already. I want to mention two other ladies that are here, and I know ladies often don't get the recognition they should. My wife being one of those, because I'm telling you, they have to put up with a lot, whether we're a politician or whether we're just a person doing another job. And these two ladies, one of them, I just ask you to hold your hand up. One is Bonnie Reynolds. Bonnie is right here. This is Garland Reynolds' wife. Garland could not come today. She came up today and brought with her Mrs. Green. And if you are familiar with her son, Ronnie Green, the Ronnie Green Heart Center in Gainesville, she is with her today, and we want to congratulate both of them for making the voyage over the mountains, and thank y'all for being here. And she, like my wife, has to put up with a husband that comes up with a lot of crazy ideas and then has to figure out a way to make them happen. And Garland Reynolds is the backbone of this project. He's the one that visualized what it could be, what it could look like. He put it on paper, and because of that, we had a guideline that we could follow. People we could take that to, like James Thompson, and show it to him and say, James, really is there's going to be something here someday. You just got to have faith in us. Also, another lady that's right here on the front row is Barbara Weaver. Now, if there's a lady that's had to put up with a lot of crap, I'm going to tell you. Fleming Weaver, a lot of you heard of him and know about him. He is an amazing guy. He is from Hall County. Why in the world he wanted to dedicate the last 5 years of his life and the frustrations to coming up in Union County and helping us do something really special, I never have been quite sure, just thankful of it. But I want you to know, I did not count them this morning. If I'd had time to go by, I would. But I would estimate in the last 3 years that if I said I'd gotten 5,000 to 6,000 emails from him, that would not be an exaggeration. It takes me about an hour every day just to go through just his emails. Have you got this done at the farm? Have you done that? Are you ready? Are you thinking about this? Why are things not moving quicker? Who's going to do this? But an amazing gentleman, somebody we appreciate so much, because without his drive behind all of this, it also would not have happened. Thank you very much, Fleeman and Barbara, for putting up with him. Now, in doing what I'm doing today is going around and mentioning these names. I kind of did it randomly, and I hope I don't bore you with it, but I know I'm going to miss some, and I already saw somebody back there that I didn't even think about, so I apologize in advance for the ones I'm not going to say anything about. Chad Winkler, they already talked about. Chad not only was a contractor of building this pavilion, he was a contractor of finishing our project. And without getting into a lot of work, we got some state money. We got state money, a transportation enhancement grant, which came through the Georgia Department of Transportation to do a lot of the work on the farm, about $700,000 worth. It was a great grant, but we had to go through state guidelines in getting that grant, which meant we had to go through the state bidding process, which meant we had to take the lowest bidder, which meant we got a scoundrel. And I don't know how else you could put it. And they always make us in government, they always make us go out and bond a project, pay the money for bond insurance. nobody ever goes bad on a bond. And so you just think, well, why am I spending that money on the bond? Well, we found out that that's still a damn good question. Why were we spending the money on the bond? Because we had to fight with that bonding company, that insurance company, day and night for months to get a penny out of them. And fortunately, Chad came along and fixed everything that had been screwed up at this place and did a great job. And Chad, thank you very much. He is a great contractor. And I want to mention a special lady who is going to be very responsible for helping the state of Georgia and the Southeast know about this project, and that's Cheryl Smith, my buddy over here. Let's give Cheryl a hand. She is a government employee that is dedicated like I have never seen, and she's got a counterpart here who does just as much, and it's Kathy Papa. Where are you, Kathy? Kathy is at every meeting, every function we go to, always doing everything she can to help support North Georgia. Danny Lewis, and where's Danny? Danny and his wife, and behind him, I'm going to be short on names, but behind him, the staff members with the Georgia Mountain Regional Commission, they do a fabulous job of helping us write grants so that we can get money for these things and promoting us region-wide. Steve Gooch and Steve Allison, thank you guys all the time. We're all the time coming to the state looking for money. These guys have to provide money through their budget to these state agencies so that we have some money to work with. And we thank you guys both for doing that. I see it. We see a guy over here on this camera, John Moon. John goes around quietly and does his job, but he's a real asset to Union County and Towns County and the whole area promoting things we do. John, thank you for coming out and doing this, because we couldn't afford him if we had to pay him to come out here and do it, but he does it on his own. And I see a couple of Reece guys back here on the left, Terry and Stephen, and I'm not going to go into the line of relatives, but they are both close relatives of Byron Herbert Reece. They've been instrumental in working with us all along. Thank you guys, and I know that you guys can't believe what you're seeing today, because I can't believe it, and I've been here watching it happen. One name I wanted to mention that you don't know is Terry White. Terry, hold your hand up. Terry is also a relative of Reece. He and I played football together in high school. I hadn't seen Terry in I don't know how many years. He just showed up today. So if you get a chance, you can holler at him sometime today. I talked about Garland, Reynolds, and Fleming. I guess it gets us down to a couple other people, and that'd be Dr. John Kay, who I just can't say enough about how he has been the one that's had the pressure on him. Now, we got Fleming giving the pressure to driving us like, with a whip. But Dr. Kay has had to put it all together, hold it together, hold everybody together, hold this group together, keep your enthusiasm and our enthusiasm up. And I just want to thank him from the bottom of my heart, because he is one of the most unbelievable people I've ever met. So thank you, Dr. Kay. Kathy Cox and what she's done with Young Harris College goes unsaid, but those of you that have not been over that way in a long time, you won't recognize it. Yes, they have some beautiful signs and some beautiful buildings, but it's the heart of what's happening in Young Harris that makes it special. And Kathy, thank you so much for what you've done to our community and our area. And the guy who's not here, who really is the guy that probably is the backbone of the whole thing, was Mr. Mathis. James Mathis, many of you don't know, but he was from Gainesville, and he, through the Interpretive Society at Ball Mountain, Brasstown Ball, that they ran for years, he had the foresight to purchase this property. And then he has since passed in the last couple of years. I don't know if his son was able to make it or not. Is he here? Where is he? Francis. Oh, Francis is here. Oh, I didn't even see you. Hey, Francis, his lovely wife. You just can't say enough for what that family has done. All the artifacts you see, James went out, had that vision years ago to get all these artifacts and all these things that Reece owned.
store them up and keep them available. And now we're able to today finally be able to display this, and you're going to be amazed at what all you see in the facility. W.R. Berry is back there, and W.R. is the father of John Charles Berry. John Charles works down in Savannah and could not be here today, but he let us know at some point in time that he had Byron Herbert Reece's tractor, 1947 Farmall tractor. W.C. Nelson and Nelson Tractor, Will Nelson, took that tractor, totally restored it, not to a new looking condition, but to the way it did look. And I personally got to drive it yesterday around the farm, and it's parked right below the barn, so you'll be able to see it today. And I want to thank W.R. and his family for saving that tractor and giving us the opportunity to use it for as long as we need to use it here at the farm. And also, I wanted to second what they said about Reed Dyer. Reed Dyer not only was our project coordinator, and he is from Union County, but he also had to go through all the process of the heartache when we were trying to get everything settled with our bonding people. We could not have made it without Reed. And Reed, thank you very much. I spent more time than my wife wanted me to spend, and I'm going to see a lot of people as soon as I sit down that I forgot to mention, and please forgive me for that, but you are here to see some amazing things today. You will be excited as we are. We've often all wondered, is the end of this ever going to come? And when it does, are we going to be proud of it? I can tell you, it has come. We are proud of it, and it's because of efforts of all of y'all and many other people here. Thank you very much, and enjoy the day, because it's going to be great. I didn't even get to my seat, and I even had it on my note, because I just patted her on the shoulder. Betty Sellers. When we first started, the Reece Society had a meeting over at Young Harris College. This is years ago, and we first sat down there and started talking about it. She started talking about Reece. She taught Reece. She's an amazing lady. She could just take a poem and read it, and I don't even like poetry, but I could listen. I could listen to her all day long, but she got us encouraged that first day. Although we were all a little negative that time, we thought, how in the world is this ever going to happen? But I want to especially thank you for what you've done, not only for Reece and working with and teaching, but what you've done for Young Harris College and for the whole community. You're a great lady, a special lady. Thank you.
Dr. Cox, when I was a student at Vanderbilt, I did take French, and after attempting that endeavor, I fully understand why Uncle Hub didn't do that. When I was a young guy, which was just a couple of years ago, but when I was a young kid, I used to come and spend some time with my grandfather every summer and stay a week or so with him, T.J. Reece, Uncle Hub's brother. And oftentimes I would find myself over here in this field hoeing pepper plants. And those were long rows to hoe. But that's what you did if you wanted to eat that night. But we spent a lot of time at the old farm, and and even though at the time I was younger, I probably didn't really fully appreciate what I was being exposed to. And when I talk with Byron Herbert Reece, you'll hear me refer to him as Uncle Hub, because that's all I've ever known him as. And so a lot of great memories. I would have never dreamed, 35 or 40 years ago when I was over there hoeing peppers, that we would be here today looking at what we're looking at and reveling in the past and preparing to show the past to the future. I wouldn't have really dreamed 9 years ago, okay, when we all got together at Young Harris, that this would actually come to fruition. And I thought it would be just a wonderful thing if that could happen. Very ambitious, and yet here we are in this beautiful facility that everybody should take ownership in and should be very proud of. There's too many people for me to thank. Hundreds of people that worked on this I don't even know and probably never will know. But I can tell you as a representative of the Reece family, we can't be more proud of what has been attempted and what has been completed here. But the people I really want to thank are all of you all sitting here, because without your interest in joining the Reece Society, being a part of it, watching it grow, I mean, I tried to think back to the very first meeting we had. I don't know how many were in attendance, but we've grown exponentially since that time. And so I really appreciate your interest in this, and I really appreciate your involvement. Really appreciate you getting the word out and helping the society grow. I think now that we have something tangible to look at, it even makes it an easier, I do sales for a living, so it's an easier sell to get more people involved in this. And I think we got it right. I think this is a great interpretive center that does two things in my mind. It preserves the heritage of Byron Herbert Reece, the man and the poet. And maybe equally as important, it preserves the heritage of Appalachia lifestyle. I was here last week with my family. We just happened to be in for a visit, and so I brought my daughters around to look around. And Dr. K was nice enough to show us around. And some things that I had heard about, I didn't really think about that they would really appreciate. They'd never seen a corn crib really, or a spring house. And to see the spring house and go, gosh, that's how they kept things refrigerated essentially. I mean, they learned something that day in an hour, and to me, that's what it's all about. So I'm excited for the prospects of the future to have school groups out and other people out and have an opportunity to learn. And I think learning about your past is what enhances your future. And so on behalf of the Reece family, I just want to thank you all for your diligence, and thank you for your interest, and thank you for being here, and let's have a great day.
Thanks to all of you who have shared your impressions with us. We're very grateful for that. We're going to ask Fleming Weaver to come now and have some special recognitions.
John asked me to hold it to 30 minutes, and I'm going to try my best. In fact, if I was going to recognize a number of people, but between Lamar and Ron and John, most of you have been already recognized. But I'm going to do it again, because you're all very important to the success that we see here today. James Mathis has been mentioned, and if it hadn't been for James E. Mathis Sr., we wouldn't be here today, because he had the foresight on this project, as many other projects, to see this as a vision that needed to be promoted in Northeast Georgia, preserving the lifestyle of the Northeast Georgia and preserving the legacy of Byron Herbert Reece, who he pulled fodder with. And Francis and James managed the Goose Creek Bed and Breakfast, and that's how they became friends of the Reece family. And so we really have a lot of heritage here today. Joe Satterfield and Mike Giles and I encouraged John Kay to have lunch with us about 8 years ago. And if John had known then what he knows now, he would have said there are no free lunches. Because we encouraged him to be the chair of the Friends of the Reece Farm, because at that time, Bert Wirtz had agreed with Garland Reynolds that this would be a great state, not a state park, but a state historic site. Unfortunately, the revenues in Georgia did not allow that to happen, and as a result, Union County graciously accepted this albatross and leased it to the Reece Society, which is actually like a Friends of a State Park. But it has even more connotation because it is the literary side of the Byron Herbert Reece legacy. So I want to recognize some folks here today. Joe Satterfield, by the way, is here. Joe was the president of the Interpretive Association when the property was purchased, and James and Joe worked together on this. And Joe has been very instrumental in being a partner with the Blue Ridge Mountain EMC. I mentioned Francis. Francis and James's son, Greg and Sally, are with us today, and we certainly want to welcome them as being part of this heritage. It was mentioned that James had acquired a number of artifacts, actually a lot of farm implements, but also due to John and Sue Ellen Pentecost, we have a very valuable collection of home and farm antique articles that are located now in the educational exhibits in the farm buildings. So John and Sue Ellen, would you raise your hand? Now we're going to, no applause until we raise it. I've got 68 more people to recognize, but they're right over here. And I want you to look at that collection. We went down to Winder to look at it, and it was just awesome. And they've made this available to us. James Thompson has been mentioned, and James has been our strongest governmental ally other than Lamar, because he has provided money for the farm restoration of the buildings, for the educational exhibits, for the chairs you're sitting in today, and for sponsorship of our award-winning video, Voices, finding Byron Herbert Reece. And you'll notice today as you leave some small seedlings that have been planted, and we have about 30 new disease-resistant American chestnut trees here. So we're going to be a pioneer in bringing the chestnuts back to northeast Georgia. John, I know I'm running over. Garland has been mentioned several times, and he's over at Curry Mountain today with the 3 airborne ranger divisions that were trained there, and he's working on a historical, architectural project there, and he regrets not being here. But today it's very important, Bonnie's been mentioned, it's very important that you to take a close look at the portrait trail, because Robert Pence and his group have done a magnificent job, and we've got the Stonehenge of northeast Georgia right here at the Reece Farm. The 2 ladies that were our design persons for the educational exhibit, Karen Deem and Edwina Loreno, could not be with us today. Karen has been particularly involved. In fact, she's been here just last week to help fine-tune the exhibits. And I think that they have done a magnificent job of giving Garland's vision put to paper, and now we have it put in place. Reed Dyer. Reed, is he here today? Would you really? Okay, right back in the back. Reed was the project facilitator for the TE grant and also the One Georgia grant, and he's with Hayes James, and he was our on-site engineer for this entire venue. Commissioner Parrish, you can't say too much good about him. And he's still going to get a lot of emails. He thinks it's over, but it ain't over until it's over. But the people that really do the work is Larry Garrett. Larry, raise your hand. Mike Thomason. And in particular, Johnny Holbrook. Johnny, where are you? Right back here. This guy has put his heart and soul into this development of this facility. He's with Union County government. He's got more common sense in his little finger than I've got in my whole body. And I want you to know that he has saved us a passel of money with his ingenious ways of getting things done. Chad has been mentioned already, Chad Winkler, the general contractor, and Chad has just done a fantastic job. Calvin Queen, our electrician. We've had some interesting electrical challenges, and Calvin has done a fantastic job on taking a sow's ear and making it into a silk purse. So we really appreciate it. Robert Pence has been mentioned. Robert, I called Robert at Garland's and John's command and asked him if he could do this job and get it ready by today. And they finished up yesterday. And it was a back-breaking, down in the trenches job, and I think you're going to really be impressed when you go up to the Poetry Trail. It is an edifice. Beverly Bradley, is Beverly here today? She helped us with our landscaping. We have some more to do, but she's did a great job for us. Deb Marsh. Deb is our museum and our gallery, Reece Gallery curator. She's with Young Harris College. Deb, she is very creative. In fact, she undid everything I did and did it right. We've had 3 Eagle Scout projects here. This is a county community affair. In fact, it's a tri-county community affair facility here. We've got all kinds of partners. But Joel Egg did the restoration of the outside of Mulberry Hall, Reese's study, which is up on the hill. Tucker Smith did the inside. Tucker Knight. I don't know why. John, you didn't catch that on my first. It's Tucker Knight, Carol's son, Carol Knight, who is chair of our recent schools committee, and A.J. Stevens did the picnic area. Some of you may want to avail yourself of the picnic area today. A.J.'s here? Right here. All right, good. Raise your hand, A.J. Also, I want to recognize Glenn Kyle, who's the managing director for the Northeast Georgia History Center. They have been a resource for us in our collections and also in our exhibits. Mike Giles, who's president of the Georgia Poetry Federation, would have been here today, but he's traveling with the governor in Turkey. But the Georgia Poetry Federation are donating some museum quality chickens, roosters, and chicks for our chicken coop. Now there's some down there right now, they look a little ratty because they were left over from the History Center in Gainesville. But we wanted you to know what a chicken was supposed to be doing in that straw. And as I mentioned, Mike was instrumental in helping with the acquisition of this property. Now, the Reece Farm Development and Management Committee has been outstanding. And some of you have been recognized already, but I want you to just hold your hand up when I call you out, because these are the people that have made the work happen for the whole Reece Farm development. Ben Halsey, Larry Garrett, Lamar Paris, Bill Durrett, Burt Weeks, Charles Jenkins, Cheryl Smith, James Mitchell, John Kay, John Phillips, John Erbley, Johnny Holbrook, Ron Roach, Ed Reed, and Garland Reynolds. It takes a lot of folks to make things happen, and they made it happen. Thank you very much for your participation here today.
Well, you've heard a lot about this man already from Lamar, but I got to say a few words too. He truly has been the driving force behind the development of the Reece Farm and Heritage Center. For 9 years now, well, almost 9 years, he's kept his hand steady on the wheel, and he has cajoled, finagled, inspired, and guided everybody involved in the effort. He's a doer, he's a man of his word, he's a passionate volunteer who never allows grass to grow under his feet. In these 9 years, he has crossed Blood Mountain from Gainesville well over 100 times, all at his own expense. He's been among the most generous financial contributors to the farm project. He's persisted through periods of physical difficulties and pain, some of which resulted from his labors for the Reece Society and the Reece Farm and Heritage Center. Fleming holds the world's record for the use of email, as Lamar has implied. He just hadn't been entered into the Guinness Book of World Records. I know he's utilized the computer on a more frequent basis than any other human being on the planet. Lamar was guesstimating about the emails he's gotten. I took time the other day to count, to do a count, Fleming, and it came out this way: 1,327,611 emails over a 9-year period. That's going somewhere. Well, in short, without the dedication of this man and his unrelenting work ethic, we would not be witnesses today to the progress we've come to celebrate. Johnny, come forward. So today we're going to acknowledge with great appreciation what this man has meant to us and to this project. Oh, thank you. We are dedicating the pavilion to this man.
Oh, come on.
The plaque reads, in appreciation of his many years of devoted service as chair of the Reece Farm Development Committee, his passion, commitment, and unparalleled industry account in large measure for the successful evolution of the Reece Farm and Heritage Center. So this is your plaque. We're going to put it up here, and for years to come, people will know the person who was really the driving force. We will.
Thank you, John.
All right.
Can I say one word?
Yeah, you can say a word.
I'm overwhelmed, really, and all I can say is thank you very much.
Thank you.